Yeah. So good morning, I'm Gracie Opulenza and I'm all about eccentric and opulent lifestyle. And I'm here in Arezzo, Tuscany. This is one of the beautiful towns that I live near. And I've just uploaded on my YouTube, No More Fashion Talk. I'm a digital nomad. I work with luxury brands. I've traveled all around the globe. Listen to the bell. And I'm going to tell you what they were made for originally. Did you know that bells were originally made for to get rid of the negative energy, to tap into your heart, soul and mind for a natural healing? So when you hear a bell and it's starting to aggravate you or you feel quite stressed, it's actually healing the very depth of your soul that you may not even know that needs healing. Now, thousands and thousands of bells have been stopped, taken down because they don't want you to just embrace these beautiful sounds, and the sounds can really psychologically help you with anxiety and stress. So they've taken them down because a lot of people have complained about bells on a Sunday morning, bells all day Sunday. And it's a tragedy really, because they were created for a positive, natural, free healing. And we can thank the politicians, we can thank Big Pharma, because you've got to understand that pharmaceutical companies, medical companies, doctors just want your money. And so bells are part of that discreet taking away remedy that really honestly heals you. And the other thing is, the biggest killer is food. Look at obesity now. Look at anxiety now, stress because of the fast food industry, because of processed food. And we're in Italy here, and you know, we've got the infiltration of Starbucks. Even coffee used to take you 10 minutes, coffee to be made in Italy. It doesn't anymore. It's completely different, unlike Laos and Vietnam, which take their time. So the culture, the art is under attack because food is the biggest killer of our youth and of our time, and it's deception. So come to Italy, really take time to embrace the culture, the food. And if the bells really annoy you, don't worry about that, right? Don't worry about the bells, because it's just healing something within your body, soul and mind. I mean, if you're visiting Italy, you're trying to de-stress. So there are certain positive noises that are fantastic. Don't go to Starbucks in Italy. Go to the local bakeries. Try and get off the tourist traps. Buy some fantastic olive oil, because it's really, really good for you. So, no more fashion talk. My name is Gracie Opulenza. The reason I live in Italy is my parents are from the south, from Puglia, and I am the first generation Australian. Thanks to my parents, and they came from Italy after the war for a better life. Italy was really poor. They decided to take a ship that took 4 weeks to go into Australia, and really brave. You know, there was no technology at that time. 4 weeks, horrendous. My mother was ill continuously, and they were promised a 2-year education, which they never got. And my parents really got racially discriminated, and so did I. So that's my background. And so when people are being racially discriminated or physically discriminated by the colour of your skin, I can relate to all that, because growing up in rural Australia, Orbost East Gippsland, in a Catholic system, I was always isolated, I always was picked on. They all made fun of my paninis, my focaccia, my homemade tomatoes grown, olive oil, cheese. And it was as a small girl that really had an effect on me, because you just want to belong. And I've put it on Reddit and I said, do women bully more than men? And it's incredible. And on my Reddit, you should see how many men and women agree that when it comes to bullying, women are worse than men. Girls are worse than boys. So that was what I was under for very much my primary elementary years. But it defined me. It made me strong in character. And it's why I can sadly tolerate a lot of bullying, which I had in London Fashion Week. A lot of bullying. And even at London Fashion Week, the staff members were criticising me because they were saying your hands are offensive when you talk with your hands. That was an email I got from the British Fashion Council. And so I understand bullying. So my videos from now on, because I've been told, please share my testimony, my stories, how I've got to be the very few women in the world owning a man's magazine and having vintage style clothing blogs. My passion is artisans. My passion is Europe and historical buildings and touching dolls that are 1,000 years old and 2,000. And it's also, my passion is, I have been bullied a lot as a child and even into my adulthood. I am a Christian. I pray a lot. I've even had a lot of abuse this year. And when good versus evil, it's the Holy Spirit, it's the Jesus anointing in me that aggravate, obviously, people when they meet me. You've got to understand your gifting. And God trained me very young because, I mean, the way I've been bullied throughout my life, if it wasn't for my Christian walk with Jesus, I'd be 10 foot under the ground, honestly. I've never had a suicide thought in my mind. What it has is defined my character. I'm a real fighter in the sense of I will speak up. Because I'm a woman, 9 times out of 10, even at London Fashion Week, they'll say to me, Gracie, you know, you're really aggressive. But interesting, if a man was in the position that I had tolerated, right, I can tell you one thing for sure. They would have said, well done. And it's interesting because I've just read in the Post about the discrimination I had in Andorra with my house fire. And that's in Andorra, and in Spain, Barcelona, where my car got stolen after I got hit at 100 kilometres an hour. Shakira today is talking about the same discrimination as a woman, as a foreigner in the city of Barcelona, and she had to pay 7.8 million tax. She said the Spanish government really came at her because she was Brazilian, she was a woman, and she said they just gaslighted her and bullied her. So I can relate to that. But the great thing is about Shakira and women like me is that we understand our value and our worth, no matter who tries to take us down. And that's, you know, I mean, Jesus was persecuted. The apostles were persecuted. As a Christian, it's just part and parcel. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're worth nothing. And it's really hard. So as I said in my Reddit, bullying is really something that I've had to tolerate throughout my life, even this year, even in Asia. And Italy, I get quite bullied from men, and because they don't understand my nomadic lifestyle and my independence, right? They don't get it. Culturally, Italian women do not drive fast cars. They do not look for things in storage. They don't have the nomadic lifestyle. The Italian culture is very fearful. So we're here in Arezzo, Tuscany, and it's about an hour from Florence. Individual boutiques, very popular. And this weekend we'll be having the vintage market. Check that all on my YouTube. So what I've said now, No more fashion, no more style tips. If you like what I wear, then just ask me where you can purchase it or how you can get it. And I am being told several times I need to write a book. So this is my way of putting out my testimony. And like, comment, should I write the book? Because you haven't heard anything yet. And these YouTubes are all about my upbringing. Rural Australia, Italian parents coming to Australia, and really, really racially discriminated. And as first generation Australian Italian, we were, because we were the minority. They didn't want us, even though we developed Melbourne, Australia. Lots of cities in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s is all about Italian heritage. And Lygon Street is all changed now. So, as I said, when you get bullied, it's all about changing your thoughts and changing your future, right? So it's up to you how you handle it. Change your thoughts and change your future when someone is bullying you. The reason that they do it is because they're intimidated by you. If you're a Christian, there's something in your spirit aggravating. And bullies really are the lowest scum of the earth, because all they are out from the pit of hell to destroy you. And ask yourself the question, if I had to listen to my bullies, I would have stayed in Orbost, East Gippsland and never moved. But I have conquered the world over and over, created more than 4 businesses, working with top brands like Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Bentley, Jaguar, Audi, to name a few. How on earth did I get there? Well, I tell you, it's your upbringing, your tenacity, your mindset, and definitely understanding your worth. Don't ever let anyone, and especially at school, people will come at you, your peers will come at you about your worth. And all you want to do is fit in, right? That's normal. And the thing is, I never fitted in. And that's also why I have conquered so many obstacles by the disgusting people's mouths coming at me. And that's at London Fashion Week. That's from the staff, from the top. Why would a top organisation send people as predators against me? One woman who was just starting her brand way in 2012, Men's Style Fashion. So my YouTube is all about my testimony of how did I get thus far? How did I conquer such evil, disgusting, filthy mouths of trying to break me down, already as a little girl, already as a teenager. So don't worry about that. Change your thoughts, change your future. It just all comes down to that. So we're in Arezzo. We're just about to go to my car because you can see it's stormy. We are now coming in to September. Electric is still full on, but there's also is our little petrol mopeds. And as I said, my YouTube now is forget fast fashion, forget the style tips. I'm telling you about my testimony, my upbringing, my foundation, and where I'm heading now. And in today's world of social media, you know, everyone's talking about fashion, and that's why I chose Men's Style Fashion. So just reiterating, we're in Arezzo, Tuscany. This is one of my cities that I live very close, and I'm amongst 10,000 olive trees. and it's beautiful, and I live in Italy because my heritage is obviously Italian, but it's from the south. It's not from here, and there's a big difference between the north and the south. I was bullied and racially discriminated for many years in my teenager years. We're just talking, and I was in the Catholic system, private school. I was even bullied by Irish and English teachers, which is ironic, isn't it? Don't think that you're in the Catholicism system and you won't be discriminated. If you think it's bad, it's going to get worse, because it's absolutely horrific what happens next as I keep sharing this testimony. And that's it really in a nutshell. I'm here in Tuscany, Arezzo. Beautiful. Mustard, one of my favourite colours. It's very Tuscan, and as the winter gets cooler, yes, you'll see a lot of Italians wearing that colour. And so we're just walking around, and my YouTube is all about my testimony, my walk as a child. I'm just going to keep sharing you with my childhood. You need to understand that very clearly. And the dominant thread as an immigrant child is that I got continuously bullied, sadly, which is really, really, really sad. Now, one of my favourite cars, Fiat, is sadly sold to the Stellantis group, which is Citroën. It's French. And the Topolino is the same as the Citroën electric. They're under the same conglomerate, which is Stellantis, right? Love this. But Fiat is no longer belonging to Italy, and the new 600, Meloni, female Prime Minister of Italy, said take everything off made in Italy for the new Fiat 600, including this, because it's not made in Italy. They're actually going to manufacture in Poland. I mean, Italy, they're so dumb. Why would you sell Fiat? And also they've sold partly Ferrari as well. But you know, that's on the government to allow that. France doesn't allow the car manufacturing historically to sell their iconic heritage, right? I'm just come up here because this is the same company, Citroën, Stellantis Group, Alfa Romeo, all owned by a French company. So this, can you see the similarities? Just stay there, Gigi. So this is Citroën. It's the Stellantis Group. It's exactly the same as the Topolino. It's exactly the same, just we've got obviously the French version. But you are looking at the same plastic, at the same manufacturing, at the same glass, right? They're little electrics. They're gorgeous. They're perfect for Italy. You're not allowed to take them on the autostrada or the highway, right? And you can start driving these at the age of 14. So this is a Stellantis group, this is Citroën, and the Topolino is Fiat. But they are under the Stellantis group, which is nothing Italian about Topolino, and this is French, right? So this is what's happening in the car industry that I work in. And Fiat 600, the new one, and the Alfa Romeo is going to be made in Poland. So Italy has stepped in and said, don't go promoting Topolino. In fact, they can't even name it an Italian name, and they cannot even say made in Italy. So finally, because Italy has sold their soul to France and to China, that authenticity of made in Italy is gone. And what's my point? I have a passion for Italian artisans. Shoes here, are made in Tuscany. That is who I am. I grew up with the most amazing haute couture, a golden fashion. It was my family, my cousins, my mum and dad. We brought haute couture, Italian moda, to Australia. We were the pioneers of that. So therefore, that's my upbringing. My upbringing is 100% made in Italy. My upbringing, we were the Europeans that brought into Australia Italy. And so what a heritage. What a beautiful legacy. And thanks to my mum and dad for that. And therefore, that's my upbringing. I got bullied because of my panini, my ciabattas, my mozzarella, my salsicce, my salamis, my prosciutto. I was eating the best food in Australia, but at the time, as a kid, you just want to fit in. So I wasn't understanding. I could see when my dad dropped me off, kids laughing at my dad, laughing at me, and they would call me greasy salami, because I had eaten salami, and hairy tomato, because my dad was a big, hairy Italian. But as a kid, that has an effect on you. But fortunately, what was meant for evil, God turns into good. And that's why I can handle London Fashion Week bullies, British Fashion Council bullies. That's why I can handle discrimination, because I know my self-worth. And that's down to Jesus. And I recognize it evilly. Why would a big company like that come as an individual? It's because I am a pioneer, a trendsetter. I have no fear, and I do things differently, uniquely, and I pioneer things. So at London Fashion Week, I was the first woman in the world to put a world champion on the London runway. And then 6 months later, British Fashion Council then copied me and did Lewis Hamilton. But it didn't have the same effect. I've worked with many sports stars, but I'll tell you, again, I'm talking about my elementary, primary. In another video, I'm going to talk about who I grew up with. I grew up in Australia with Australian football, the David Beckhams of its time. That's why I understand the marketing of sports, women and men. This is my life. This is my testimony. Please like, comment. Should I write a book? Should I continue with this? God's told me to do it, and so many people, and I'm doing it. Now, Volkswagen in big trouble, electric. For the first time in history, in Germany, they may be shutting down the plant because they're dithering and dathering. I live in Asia. China is taking over the electric. So Volkswagen is on the brink of bankruptcy. Why do I know so much about cars? I grew up with cars. In life, the dots join, but we'll stick to the elementary school. I'll stick to my primary school, and I'll tell you why. As an adult in my 40s, God decided to open the doors with the biggest luxury car brands in the world. But we've got to go back before we go forward. Remember, the dots join. This is Gracie Opulenza, and this is my life. Want to know how I got here? Keep listening.